Natzorean or Nazarene. It's not surprising that when one is traveling in the area of Nazareth, the road signs write Nazareth in about 5 different spellings. Could it be that some people are getting closer to the real word? In the book of Isaiah 11, verse 1, we have the following verse. There shall come forth a shoot or rod from the stalk or stem of Jesse, and a branch shall be fruitful, grow out of its roots. This branch growing out of the roots is called Netzer in Hebrew and Skion in English. It's a very small branch. In my neighborhood, 3 young olive trees showed only 1 Netzer, as you see here. The older trees have larger or even many. This word Netzer should not be overlooked, but sadly has been for the past 2,000 years. In 1992, Bargil Pixner published his book, in which he tells us about the people who lived in Nazareth at the time of Yeshua. I'm using his Hebrew name. They were known as the people of the shoot of the root, or Natzoreans. The population numbered from 120 to 150 people. More important than being called a person from Nazareth, they were priestly families. In 1962, a fragment of a marble plaque was discovered in Caesarea, which specified these Nazzoreans. The word is spelled with a tzaddik. This discovery settled the problem of the spelling of Nazareth. When Greek was being translated into Hebrew, there was no tzaddik, and they put the Z in there, forming the word Nazareth. It was important, however, to preserve the priestly connection of these people, their connection with the house of David. Even blind Bartimaeus in Jericho seemed to be aware of the scripture which I pointed out in the beginning in Isaiah, namely the shoot from the stem of Jesse, Jesse being the father of David. And when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. Mark 11:47. Years ago, I went to the Haifa University Library and checked out the shard, or piece of the plaque. In the new Encyclopedia of Archaeological Excavations in the Holy Land, 1993, it shows the same list of priestly families. The word Nazareth is marked here with an arrow. I find it disturbing that this messianic prophecy in Isaiah has been largely hidden, even by top biblical scholars. In its place, the word Nazareth is widely used. The Nazarenes in the Bible were Samson and John the Baptist. They did not consume wine or grapes and grew their hair long. On the other hand, Yeshua was called a wine-bibber, or person who drank wine. In the book of Matthew, we read, the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, look, a glutton and a wine drinker, or wine-bibber, a friend of tax collectors and sinners, but wisdom is justified by her children, or by her works. Matthew 11:19. We also have the verse, the Son of Man has come eating and drinking, and you say, look, a glutton and an excessive drinker, wine-bibber, a friend of tax collectors and sinners, Luke 7:34. The author I mentioned earlier, Bargil Pixner, was a Benedictine monk of the Dormition Abbey in Jerusalem. He lived in Jerusalem for 25 years and was a tour guide. He passed away in 2002 at the age of 81. His book is sold at various tourist centers in Israel. It would be hard for me to believe that the Nazarene Church would suddenly decide to change their name to Natzorean Church, but if they were to do so, it would clear up confusion. I was introduced to the subject by Shlomo Dori, a Jewish believer and Holocaust survivor of blessed memory of Beth Eliyahu Congregation, Haifa. As a side note, I'd like to mention something David Sadaka shared in one of his lectures at the Haifa Theological Institute. His brother lives in the Haifa area and grows olive trees. He told David that he could produce olives quicker if he grafted in branches from other olive trees. This could surely be applied to the idea of the one new man in Scripture, Jew and Gentile together. The olive tree symbolizes Israel since it never dies. The olive trees in Jerusalem on the Mount of Olives are among the oldest trees in the world. In addition, in the story of Ruth, we have the grandmother nursing baby Oded, the grandfather of King David. This Jewish grandmother represented the law and the prophets, or we could say the biblical root teachings, which all believers need in order to be truly nourished.